Hey folks, I'm getting ready to get on the water in a few days, and the presentation I'm going to be using is that 1/4 ounce brush jig. I pour them myself, I tie them myself, I put this split weed guard on there, and I'm going to skip it into deep cover, and I'm going to put that aside and show you the rod I like to use. This is a St. Croix, that's showing up, Legend Extreme. This is the most sensitive rod I've ever owned. It's got carbon fiber guides, which keeps it lightweight, and it's just super sensitive. But I'm going to be skipping with a spinning rod up into cover, and I'm getting ready to put my fresh fluorocarbon line on, and I got the Seagar 20 red label. This thing, which is just an eye bolt through 4 spools of fluorocarbon that I use as leader. So I have 10 for like really clear reservoir fishing, 12 which I'll use on the Susquehanna. When I jump up to 15, I'm getting into a little bit, you know, a little bit more abrasion in that type of fishing, and then I'm actually going to be using the 20. So I got a piece of 20 here. So the 2 knots that I use the most are the Albright, which connects the super clear fluorocarbon leader to the very tough and very visible braid. And then the Palomar, which is what I use at the end of this fluorocarbon leader to tie directly to the jig. My main line is this Braid. Nice bright yellow 20-pound PowerPro, and the leader I'm using, this is fluorocarbon. I think it is Seagar red label, 20-pound. So it's pretty tough stuff. And I'm going to use the Albright, and I'll use the Palomar in the end, but I'm going to show you the Albright first, which connects the Braid main line with the fluorocarbon leader. So with the fluorocarbon, I'm just kind of, see, there's the end of it, and I'm just doubling it over like a candy cane. All right, so you got that loop, and I'm going to take that loop and take the tag end of the braid, goes into the loop. All right, give yourself enough to work with here. It's going to go along that, and I'm going to pinch maybe 2.5, 3 inches up into it. And all I'm doing is I'm winding the braid around the whole thing back in the direction of the top loop of that candy cane, if you will, that loop. So I've got 3 in there, and this feels weird to me because I don't do this with my hands. I do it with my mouth. About 20 times. 4, 5. That's just how I do it. Now, the end of it, you have the same loop, you have the braid that went in, and you have this tag end. And maybe I do this a little bit different, but I pass it through there, then I pass through it again, sometimes even a 3rd time, just because if you don't do that, sometimes it can come undone. I can't even explain it, but it's been my experience. If I pass through the end of that, and maybe that makes it something other than the Palomar, I'm not sure. Not the Palomar, the Albright. Alright, so that's what we're working with. See if that makes sense to you looking at it. And you wet it, and you just slowly, and you can pull it like that to cinch it down, but do it slowly. And then as you get close, you're going to pull your main line, and then the longer piece that you're leaving on that leader, and you're testing it. You don't want to lose a fish, right? My camera keeps shaking. So I have the nice little barn cat here that's rubbing on my leg and rubbing on the tripod and climbing in the truck and looking for mice. Anyhow, so I'm trimming these sides. Make sure you get the short one. You're just trimming what you don't want. Well, that's my main line. I do want that. So get the short one, get your clippers in there, get it close, but don't nick the knot. You don't want anything sticking out, but you also don't want to nick any loop in your knot, because you will lose the whole thing. Doing the same thing with the end of the braid, and I didn't quite do that close enough. Okay, we're good. Now we move on to, we've done the Albright, right? We're going to move on to the Palomar. Palomar's, I think, a little bit easier. So, do you know how to tie your shoes? Maybe not. Maybe you're one of those kids that always had Velcro, or slip-ons, or flip-flops, or whatever. But I'm passing the end of it through there, and I pass it back through there. So it's looped over. See that? And the first thing you do when you tie your shoes with the two laces is an overhand knot. That is all you're doing with that jig. With the doubled over, there's a loop there, and then the main line, and, well, not main line, but the part that goes up to the reel, and it's just an overhand knot. Can you see that? Hopefully you can see that pretty good. There. And then you're taking the short end and putting it through that loop. That's the knot. Not the main loop, but the first loop you made. There goes my rod. So that's what the Palomar looks like before you tighten it. I'm gonna wet it, cinch it down, and be happy, because this means, sorry cat, I get to go catch largemouth bass in heavy brush. Test it. Always test your knots. That's it. Those are my two two main knots. Albright, Palomar. See ya.